Hi guys, this is Haseeb from Hezico, and today we're going to be solving a simple problem from upwork. As you can see in this problem, the client wants to create a newsletter workflow using Notion and AI integration. So let's get started. In Notion, what we want to do is to first set up how we will get the content from various sites. So for that, let's just start the workflow using a trigger. You can add a scheduler if you want to schedule it to get data regularly. Okay, so once we have set that up, let's set up. Now for that, we can use an RSS. What RSS does is basically gives us update on a specific site. It could be anything. For this case, we can use tech burner. Now we will just execute the step to see what the output is. Now we get all of this in the output, right? We also get the dates. We get the content itself. Now after that's done, let's try to filter it. Now what the filter will do is basically filter the data that we don't need, like older posts. So for that, let's say we just want um, is before, and we can just pass in update, and we can just say 30th August. Now we're hard coding this. It's after, no, sorry. We're hard coding this, but you can not do that. If you want to, you can set up ranges if that's something that you're looking for. Now once we execute that step, we will see that we have nothing. I think that's after um, this specific date. So I think we can just go a day back and execute again. Now that you can see, we have like 17 items. We have 3 items that fall in that range. Okay, so once that's done, okay, once the filter is set, we now need to process this information using AI. So we will just use an AI agent. For this, we can use the AI agent module inside N8N. This is more flexible than using the ChatGPT modules, and it gives us more control of what we can do using the AI. So let's generate the summary. So using the title, which is this, generate a two line line summary for the article, right? Okay, so once we have that, let's execute this step. Oh, so I forgot to connect the chat model. So we can use Gemini. I generally prefer Gemini because it's pretty much like more focused towards word-based things. So if you're not using Logic, I generally lean towards Gemini or ChatGPT. But if we're using Logic or if we're coding something, then I use Claude. So I'm already set up my Gemini. What you have to do is just go here, get your API key from AI Studio, and then you'll be good to go. So once we have connected the chat model, we will re-execute the step, and this will give us the summaries that we need. It's going to take some time to do what it needs to do. Okay, so now that we have the summaries, we now need to generate the script. We'll go AI agent again. We'll go define below. This will allow us to generate a prompt. So generally for prompt generation, you can just say, I just want to generate XYZ as a prompt, but let's use AI to generate the prompt that we need. So generate a prompt that takes in a title and title, summary, and content of an article, and makes a short reel or TikTok script. Keep the length of the script under 2000 characters. So I'm going to give AI what I need and ask it to generate a prompt. Now, by doing this, we can go back and forth with the AI and generate a perfect prompt that can give us a proper result that we need. You don't have to do this, but this is something that I like to do when I'm generating prompts, just using AI to just go back and forth and generating a proper prompt. Okay, so now we have this, and okay, so it's given us a lot more information that we need. We can just take this and we can paste it here. Once it's pasted, we now want to reference the title and everything that we have that we are going to use. So this is the summary. We can just say this is the summary, this is the title, and this is the content, right? Let's take this, let's paste it here. Can you, let's just specify what is what. Title, we can say summary, then we can say title, and then we can say content of article. Can you integrate this in the prompt and just return a prompt? Okay, now let's run this again. Okay, so as you can see, it is giving us what we need, but you can see that there's like it thinks that we're going to pass in the inputs through some other way, but I can just tell it to, I think we can just copy and paste this as well. Okay, so we can copy and paste this directly, and if we go this and open this here, we can just say this. Now it's going to basically take that in. We can also add our title, summary, and content over here. I think it would be a better way to handle this, to be honest, if we just add what we need over here directly rather than just having it separate. So I would do that, and I'll remove this, and we can just remove this, even we can remove this. We don't need the extras. Okay, so once we have our prompt, let's execute this step. And we forgot to connect the chat model again, so we can just copy paste. It's already set on what we need, so we can just copy and paste this and connect it, rerun this step. As it's processing through that, I think it's going to take a bit more time, because like we are processing through 3 items, as you can see in the filter that we have 3 items that match this condition. Okay, so now that we have processed it, we can see we have our script, but you can see it's trying to give it to us in markdown, which we don't need. We can just say keep the output in plain text, no markup needed. We can execute again. Okay, now that we have this is basically our script. We have to store it somewhere, so for that we're going to go with Notion. Before we integrate Notion here, we need to create an integration on Notion as well. So notion.so/my integrations. Now let's create an integration. I've already created one. This is basically a connection from your N8N instance to Notion to control your databases or your pages or whatever. So we just go here, we click the we create the integration. Once we create it, we get this, and then we copy this integration secret. Once that's copied, we come here, we say Notion, and we say update a database page. We want to update we want to create a database page inside of our database. Now to connect to Notion, just take that secret, paste it here, and you'll be good to go. This way you'll get these databases that are already created in your Notion. Let's say we want to use this. Also make sure when you do this in your databases, make sure to come here and make sure to connect your integration so that it can access whatever you want it to access. Okay, so once this is done, This is a new database. We just want to double check if we're referencing the proper database. I think it's an older instance that I'm going through. Right, so this is a new baby. This is the database that we're referencing off of. Now, as you can see, we have these columns in our database like title, summary, and the script. After we connect it to our N8N block, we have to assign these properties. So it will automatically give us what we have to change based on the connection that we have made. So now we just have to pass in the title, which is this. Now we need to pass in the summary, which we got from here. Summary. And then we need to pass in the script itself, which we got from this. Now, when you're trying to connect to certain modules, I would suggest referencing them. That way, when you do use them, there is no way of N8N to be confused. So if we do JSON output, this might not work. So for it to work properly, we just take this, paste it here as well. As you can see, the name of our script agent is AI agent 1. So we just change this to this, and it will basically take the item from the JSON output. Now we execute this step, and it's going to, using those 3 articles, it's going to create that in our Notion database. So as you can see, we have the title, the summary, and the script. So this is an overview on how to create a simple script manager, taking in articles and generating new scripts daily. We can make more changes here. We can add a scheduler that can basically make it run every day, every 50 minutes, every 30 minutes, depending on how often you want to track that news and how much you need in your scripts. Once you do that, you can also use AI to generate the video itself using VO or some other AI libraries. If you want me to make that, just let me know. But this is us solving a simple problem from Upwork. They also want email delivery. We can do that as well. We can connect our Gmail with this and say we need to send this script to an email using Gmail. Okay, so this is how we create our news to video script N8N workflow. And this is something you can create to just get scripts, or use the scripts that we get from this to generate videos automatically using VO or other libraries. We can also add a scheduler, which will allow us to basically make it run every day, every 30 minutes, every hour, and use that to generate as many scripts as we need. Now this is a very integration wise, it is a really cheap system to run as well, because AI Studio gives you a limited number of free tokens that you can use to run and generate these workflows. So this is me solving a simple problem on Upwork. If you want me to do more of these, just let me know.